In the background of a lot of my videos, there's this bookshelf. And on that bookshelf is a collection of video games that I've collected throughout the years. But there was one collection on there that I personally did not collect and was rather graciously given. And that was the Nintendo 64 collection. You see, my Nintendo 64 collection disappeared a long time ago. But a friend of mine, at one point when doing a bunch of cleaning, was like, hey, I got a bunch of Nintendo 64 games. Are you interested in them? And I was like, yes. Unfortunately, these games were stored in an ammo container in a shed outside, which means they're not in great shape. So we're gonna need to test them. We're going to need to probably clean them, and hopefully I can resurrect some of them. So yeah, I got my work cut out for me. Well, let's get right into it. So we're going to be shooting this a little bit out of order, and that's because unfortunately my recording did get a little bit corrupted and I lost the introduction. So hello and welcome. My name is Wolfie. You're watching GreaterThanPie, and today we're going to be taking a look at some old Nintendo 64 games. Now, these games, as I mentioned prior, were given to me in some pretty rough shape. They were cartridges that were well used, well loved, and unfortunately stored in some unideal conditions. Because of that, well, not all of them are going to work. So we're going to go ahead and go back to me while I test all of these games. There's around 41 games, and hopefully a good chunk of them work. So back to me in the past, me. Yeah, let's just start going through it. We got Cruisin' Exotica. Looks like Cruisin's working just fine. Tetraspire. No signal, no signal, no signal. All right, you're going to go into the pile of questionable. I'm going to save you the pain of watching this many broken Nintendo 64 games. Let's just say the number of working games is so small, and the broken games that are so influential, so important, I was absolutely destroyed at this point. And by the time I got through testing, I had zero energy and very little hope that we were actually going to be able to make something work here. But I pressed onward. With a stack of games in hand and a cleaner, we're hoping to bring these back. Okay, now that we've got everything tested, we've got a stack of 7 total working games, 2 of which, by the way, Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64 are ones that I actually bought recently, so I knew that they would work, but the rest of these are definitely not working. And I'm happy to say that Glover and Shadow of the Empire are working, because those are ones that I would love to play. And they're not in too bad shape, so we could just kind of clean them up, and they should be good to go. The rest of these, well, we're gonna need to do something a little special. So we've got this. This is a 1-up card. You don't really necessarily need it. It's got like a high abrasive sponge on here, and they come with this, which is just isopropyl alcohol. If you had like a Q-tip with isopropyl, it'd probably be fine. I'm gonna see if I can bring these back. I mean, we've got 39 games here and only 7 of them work. So if I can just start reviving games like a Techromancer, well, I'm gonna do it. I hope some of these work. So how does this product work? Well, it's pretty simple. You simply take the isopropyl alcohol, you put it on one side of the card, you use that to do an initial round of buffing on the corroded pins, and then from there, you take the other side and you buff it out. Now, they are agnostic on which side you use. You can just pick one. It's a very simple product, but it's designed specifically to allow you to get into the cartridge and get a little bit of leverage as you clean. Now, you're probably wondering, where does this come from? Like, how does this happen? Well, back in the 90s when we had this console, it was not uncommon for people to say to blow into the cartridge to get it to work. Well, we know now as retro collectors that that was a very bad idea. By blowing into the cartridge, we did exactly one thing. We introduced moisture to copper, and copper can corrode, especially once over time, that moisture grows bacteria and it gets all gross. Inside of there, you can see very clear evidence of oxidation on the copper, which was caused, of course, by moisture getting into the cartridge. So using this product, we were able to scrape out a little bit of that, and hopefully that will be enough to get some of these games working again. Okay, we are back. I just cleaned all of them. My hands are red with rust, and yeah, I think some of these are at least going to work. So let's go down through the list. Okay, this is one that I hope works. Let me see a Nintendo logo. Oh, yes. One of the only F-Zero games. I don't know how. I don't care. But it's alive. I'll save you the boring testing session, because from this point forward, things got amazing. Not only did most of these games work, but they worked perfectly. And I found out that I need to replace that memory pack in my controller that I did not even know existed. Digressing a little bit, we got just about every game except for a small stack working. And unfortunately, one of those games that didn't work was Conker's Bad Fur Day, which I think is the most notable game in that stack. That and maybe Earthworm Jim 3D. But we did get F-Zero working. We did get Yoshi's Story working. We got Mario Golf working. And we got Xena Warrior Princess working. Is that a game that I'm going to play? Probably not. I know Titus's reputation precedes itself. Point is, we got a rather sizable number of Nintendo 64 games working again, meaning my Nintendo 64 collection is now significantly larger, since the only known games that were working could be held in a single hand. Now, the collection is mostly working. Overall, we brought back more games than I expected. We've got 33 games here that are now fully functioning from what I can tell, which means that there are 33 games that I could potentially play through, and most of them I haven't beaten because, well, I never played them. I did play through all of Mario 64 when I was younger. I don't have any of the Zelda games here, but at some point I'll be rebuying those. I did beat those. Never beat F-Zero X. Never beat Banjo-Tooie. Have beaten Banjo-Kazooie, though, which I have a copy of that coming as well. So there's a lot of experiences here that I haven't even played all the way through, and some of these haven't been re-released ever. Like, I know for a fact that Bug's Life, yeah, this gem of a game. I think I remember this one when I was younger. This one right here has never been released, nor did Disney's Tarzan, I don't think. Jet Force Gemini, I don't know. I think maybe in the rare replay it might have been. Shadows of the Empire, I know is a classic. And then, of course, Xena Warrior Princess. I have a feeling that this game would test my patience, just because I know that Titus is not a great development company. But at least we brought so many of these back. And I guess really the moral of the story is don't blow into your cartridges, because that is what we cleaned out of these. If you need to clean up game cards, this is isopropyl alcohol. One Up card, I actually really liked the product. It worked really well. I didn't have to take everything apart. I do have a game bit, so if I needed to, I could have. I did try to take apart these and maybe clean them separately. Didn't work for a lot of them. It's probably just, they're too far gone, which is okay because some of them were duplicates, and I really don't need to have 2 copies of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. But at the same time, that's where we're gonna end today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, consider giving it a like, maybe commenting, subscribing. retro content is something that we're going to be experimenting a bit on this channel. I've got a video coming up where I'm going to show you how to actually play your retro games on modern displays. And I also have a video where I'm going to be taking a look at a seriously bootlegged cartridge from the Nintendo 64, game that never released. I'm super excited about that. So if you're not subscribed, get subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Wolfie, out.